What is good, Josh on the School Game Man, back with yet another reaction video, baby. And today, fresh out the barbershop, we clean, you know what I'm saying, got all the joy on, we just got back inside, but we got a duty for you guys, man. It's the Week 8 Power Rankings, man. You guys have been showing some support to this, so we're going to keep the sports content rolling here and watch yet another week to go and see how my team fell and see how the top gets mixed up a little bit. Now, me personally, my top 3 right now after the week, I told you the Vikings were going to lose. Chiefs, Lions, Baltimore? I think that'll be my top 3 right now. In that order, though. Baltimore, I'm not going to lie. Baltimore has been looking kind of tough. They've been blowing a lot of games late, which is the only reason I say they probably be below Detroit and Kansas City. But that's my top 3. Let me know your top 3 down below in the comment section, as well as like, subscribe, and turn that bell on so you guys can know when videos are going live. So you can know when the sports content is coming out. We're on NBA season, so if you guys want to see some NBA highlight reactions or just NBA video and content in general, let me know either on my socials or in the comment section so I can get that out for you guys, of course. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into this and see what their rankings look like. Remember, if you guys want me to, I actually make a full 32 listings and kind of put it up just like they kind of have it, and I'll put it somewhere, either tweet it out or something like that. We'll find some way to kind of get it to you guys or include this in the video. But let me know down below in the comment section. Let me know you guys want to see stuff like that, and we'll bring stuff like that to you guys. I have no problem doing that for y'all. I just gotta see that y'all want to actually see it, and we'll show the support to it, so I know I can, it's gonna be well received. So without all that being said, though, let's go ahead and jump straight to this video and see what these rankings look like.
Welcome to a brand new edition of NFL Power Rankings. It is presented by Energizer. Mike Gamble on with the man who's got the toughest job in the building. Or in Chicago, because that's where he's based. Eric at home. He's got to rank all 32 teams. And yes, he does that every single week. We bring you some of the hits, the entire article on NFL.com. If you're watching us right now, you can scan the QR code for a little fast track to get there. Eric, it's kind of a buzzkill. I hate to start with injuries, but my God, I think the best question to ask right now is who is healthy in the NFL?
Yeah, and it's affecting the rankings, Mike. I mean, every single week I asked, all right, did they win?
Well, it ain't that bad, though. The injury's really that bad. We got to ask who's healthy.
And who got hurt. Really, that's the biggest thing, especially quarterbacks and wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin.
Had an important call to take care of real quick, y'all. We back.
Godwin in Tampa. Watson obviously is going down for Cleveland, and the rookie of the year favorite for Washington too. We might not have the Caleb Williams showdown we were hoping this week with the Bears. So yeah, a lot of movement, and the injuries certainly had a big impact.
Yeah, we'll trickle in some of the news throughout the course of this show, but let's get to the rankings.
Here we go.
Not a huge surprise, but they did get
all right. Let's see. So we got KC, Baltimore, Detroit. Okay, same top 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, different order with 2 and 3. I personally think I would feel Detroit a little bit more than Baltimore, because Baltimore has choked a lot at the end. And I feel like you get teams that can score a lot, like Detroit and Kansas City. It's gonna, kind of affect that. But I love that. So up 1 spot for the top 2, up 2 spots for Detroit. Minnesota down 3, Bills up. Packers, Commanders all up 1, Texans down 4. But yeah, Texans lost to an actual pretty good team this time, so it kind of leaves some concerns on they might be playoff contenders. Are they going to be playoff threats though? Possibly still Super Bowl contenders. I don't think they're quite ready yet. Maybe like another year or 2, and then we'll really start to look at them as one of the top teams for sure. Just missing a couple more pieces there. Maybe it might even just be overall, I don't want to say leadership. What's the right word? Experience being this good. You know what I'm saying? So, I would say I agree with this, especially with the Bills' new signing. I normally hate to glaze the Bills. No diddy. With the new signing that they just made, I think I might put them I will put them over the Vikings. So I might put them at 4, Vikings at 5. I probably put the Commanders over the Packers. I see why he didn't, though, with the injury to Jaden Daniels. We don't know if he's going to come back. If Jaden Daniels is healthy, I might flip-flop that. Hold on, before I finalize that thought. Okay, I just had to make sure who played who, right? So yeah, Packers beat the reasons that the Texans dropped. So, but I still would put the Commanders over the Packers with the healthy Jaden Daniels. Now, if he's not healthy, they're still able to do some things, but Mariota, yeah, if he's not healthy, I see why it's 6-7. But if he is healthy, he's going to be playing this week. I'm putting the Commanders over the Packers.
Time for the team of the week. It is presented by
Team of the Week.
I understand why the Kansas City Chiefs are number 1 in your rankings.
They should have been number 1 the entire time.
But I ask you this, as I'm watching these games unfold, are they the best team in the NFL?
You don't get undefeated
Yeah,
without
when
being it.
Rasheed Rice got hurt, I opened the door for them.
And they just got A.J. Brown in the
best team
trade?
in the NFL. The accumulation of
Hold on, and they just got A.J. Brown in a trade. Oh, wait. No, wait. Was it A.J.? Not A.J. Brown. DeAndre Hopkins. I'm tripping. They just got DeAndre Hopkins in a trade. They actually got a nice top-tier number one now. Team's been number one all season. They're still number one, and they're still the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Like, let's get that out of the question. There is no questions about it. Like, injuries aside, they find ways to get dubs. On paper, and the way they're winning these games aren't pretty, but you don't got to win pretty games to get a ring.
Injuries, the way they were winning games, and that's continued. But the winning part has also continued too, Mike. And so I don't want to overlook that. And if this was a team that had come out of nowhere this season and was 6-0, maybe more like the Minnesota Vikings had they won Sunday, I might have been considering another team here like the Ravens, like the Lions in the number one spot. But Derrick Henry in his prime here, that was a huge factor Sunday. Didn't need the huge game from Patrick Mahomes. He had a couple of moments where he obviously shined as a runner, made enough plays, and that defense did the job. So, when I look at a team like the Niners going head against the Chiefs, they're a team that can't afford a bad quarterback production game right now. The Chiefs can. That's why I still have them at number one. I don't know if the Ravens, for instance, could survive a bad quarterback game from Lamar Jackson and still win against a quality opponent.
Derrick Henry on line.
I'll say I disagree with that. I really do feel like Derrick Henry could carry them to a dub. Now, I'm not saying if Lamar plays like booty, didn't know. But I mean, if he plays just like an average game, like 150 to 200 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks, Derrick Henry could carry them to a victory still, especially because the ground game will control the clock, keep the other team off the field.
Number one for you, because the way the King is playing, maybe there's an argument, but I understand your point here because the Baltimore Ravens now sit at number 2. Lamar Jackson, 5 touchdown passes, 5 incompletions. Derrick Henry runs for 169 yards. They've now won 5 consecutive games. That's sort of the theme here. This is number 5, but Eric, I got to tell you, man, like this is the Ravens team that I thought we were going to see at the start of the year. They lost those 2 first games. They were tight nail biters, but at the end of the day, I think you can make an argument Baltimore's the best team in the NFL.
There's an argument for it.
I think it's absolutely there. I wrote a line in my piece this week. I said I strongly considered it when they were sort of putting the hurt down on Tampa Bay in the second half. They're up big, did kind of ease up late, did have some ugly moments early in this game, but look, I mean, everything after that touchdown came off the board in the first quarter there, they dominated the football game, at least put it away a big enough margin. Hill was huge. Lamar Jackson had a great night. And the reports of Mark Andrews' demise are a little bit exaggerated. I think he had a great game as well. So toughest offense right now to deal with. And if you can consistently outrush your opponent by 100 or more yards, as they've done in every single game this year, Mike, I think you have an edge, and that's why Derrick Henry right now is the best closer in the NFL. Look at him just put this team away, carry him on his back, and several big runs.
Bam!
Explosive run after explosive run, watching the King out on the football field. The only thing that I would throw out there is if we get back to an AFC championship game and it's Kansas City and Baltimore, because of the Derrick Henry factor, maybe that thing plays out different. I don't even know if this team has even reached the peak of their offensive powers. I think they're still trying to figure it out. The Lions, a week ago, Eric, on this show, we were talking about Aiden Hutchinson. What would the fallout be? Really positive.
Still good.
Look, they win a game. And offensively, I think, is there a quarterback playing more efficient ball than Jared Goff?
Yeah, I think he's got to be in the MVP discussion, at least at this point, especially after the Hutchinson injury. They're going to count on him more. And, some absolutely beautiful throws on Sunday. They get off to a little bit of a tough start on both sides of the ball. Goff just kind of calmly leads them back. Jahmyr Gibbs was terrific. We know how good that offensive line is. Jameson Williams' suspension, got to factor that in. Sam Laporte has been a little bit quiet. Montgomery's a little banged up. He had a big fumble on Sunday too, but it just seems like whatever problems come their way, they find their way to get out of it. They find they find solutions from within, and they have the mental and physical toughness that's up there amongst any other team in the league. Right up there with the Chiefs, right up there with the Ravens, etc. The Vikings played a very good game. I mean, they were set to win this thing, and Detroit pulled it out at the end. So both teams, I thought, acquitted themselves well. Detroit's toughness, though, just so impressive.
Yeah, and the Vikings are still a team, even despite the loss. I know there were some questions. Hey, how much are you buying on this squad? You and I both buying on Minnesota. Still a really good football team. One other note on Jared Goff, because I think it's just pretty remarkable. 83.5 completion percentage over his last 4 games. That's the highest completion percentage over any 4-game span since 1950. You watch this
Who
team
gets
play,
these
the ball doesn't hit the
stats?
ground. I mean, it is awesome to watch this team's offense, and they get Tennessee this coming week. Now it is time for Future Champions presented by FanDuel.
What we
Take
got?
a look at the AFC East divisional
Oh.
odds, and not a
Give me the division that's the easiest? The Bills is taking this division, bro. I'm sorry. Miami, even if Tua come back, Miami, they too far behind. Aaron Rodgers, you should have just went out on the high note with Green Bay. And the Patriots, y'all just in rebuild mode. Make sure you guys head over to Smooth That Game Action. I'm actually rebuilding the New England Patriots. So you guys can head over there for my rebuild version of it to see if I can build them back faster.
Yeah, we really saw it in the second half of that game on Sunday. The first half, I mean, he had one target. It was a drop pass, an easy out route. And you thought, oh boy, he's not settling in quite the way we'd hope. But the second half really turned the page, had the touchdown on that post route, on that slant, had a nice sideline route after that. Clearly helped stretch the field. And it was funny because he and Keon Coleman weren't on the field together a ton, but Coleman also had his biggest game of the season, 4 catches, 125 yards. So just adding more explosiveness to this team right now, I think is going to be, make them even more dangerous. Now, obviously, they're a team that can be in long down and distance situations. Josh Allen can pull out miracles, but boy, if they can stay on schedule and getting second and thirds and stuff like that, how dangerous is a guy like Amari Cooper going to be with this team? They already have Dalton Kincaid, great young tight end. We've seen Dawson Knox come on. James Cook's a weapon too. I think this can help kind of stretch the field on the outside, but also down the middle quite a bit as well. And we saw the fruits of it the last 30 minutes of that game when they came back and kind of steamrolled the Titans.
Yeah, in my mind, Eric, I think the addition of Amari Cooper thrust them legitimately into that conversation.
I told you, Amari does make them later.
2 or 3 teams, not only in the NFL.
I don't know about top 2 or 3 though.
In the AFC, this is going to be a tough
AFC,
on the road against Seattle. We said this earlier this season. We're going to learn a lot about Buffalo in some of these road games. They lost at Houston, lost at Baltimore. Can they get it done against Seattle? The Packers are a team, and they sit in that 6th position for you. They move up the 1 spot with a win here against that Houston squad. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to make of this team. They're overcoming some turnovers here by Jordan Love, and I love Jordan's game, and he comes up big in some of these big moments. But is that in the back of your mind while you're doing some of these rankings that maybe the Packers are hedging just a little bit?
He and Patrick Mahomes tied for the league right now, league lead right now with 8 picks apiece. So
I mean, that's a good person to be tied with, though.
Comparisons to Favre have been made. We know that's a pretty good thing. Brett Favre won a lot of football games up there, but there is that sort of high variance quality about this offense where they can look really, really good and they can also let you down by giving the ball up. So I think it makes them dangerous. We've seen them go on the road. We've seen them have offensive performances that are spectacular. And I think there's been measurable growth on defense. And Mike, they may have a kicker. Brandon McManus made all 4 of his tries, 1 field goal at the end of the game. That has been a big issue for a long time in Green Bay. Folks up there are very happy.
And you get to do a little Lambeau leap at the end of the game, which I'm sure McManus is one of those moments that I know he is never going to forget. Hey, real quick here, because I mentioned the Houston Texans, and we're talking obviously about the Packers. I was hanging with David Carr last night, getting ready for our Monday night post-game show on NFL Network, and I brought up Stroud's name. I don't want to call it a sophomore slump because that's not what this is, but it feels like at times he played better in his rookie campaign. 86 passing yards. What do you make of what
it was a really bad game.
Pass protection. Biggest thing I took away from that game, the Packers were kind of toying with them. Look at all the guys up on the line on this play. Some drop out. That's because earlier in the game, they were successful getting home with the blitzes. So they confused Stroud. They confused the offensive line. They put Bobby Slowick, the play caller, and some
that boy got bullied there.
So I think that's
O-line. That's not even CJ.
It felt like a bigger deal the first 3-4 games of the year than it had recently, but it showed up against Sunday. And again, no Nico Collins. There's only so much Joe Mixon can do. He missed a big chunk of the season earlier as well. So I would focus on the offensive line. And CJ hasn't quite played up to that same level, but if he gets the protection, and maybe it's a different answer then.
Yeah, once again, still feel really optimistic about Houston's chances.
We ain't talking about the Commanders at all today, though.
Just something that kind of popped up, I think.
I guess we're on to the second quadrant here.
All right,
All right, so we got 9 through 16, Steelers, Eagles, Bears, Broncos, Bucks, Seahawks, Falcons, 49ers. So Bucks dropping 4, Broncos jumping up 4, though. 3 jump up for Seahawks. If I'm looking at this quadrant, do I agree with it, though? Pittsburgh, especially with Russ, if Russ can keep playing like that, then yes, I agree they're better than the Eagles. The Bears are on a really good winning streak right now. I don't know if I put them above the Eagles, so I like that. Broncos, we'll go ahead and leave them right there. Bucks did lose pretty bad. I think we can see that they can. It can be exposed. So I see the drop. Honestly, I think I like this. Now, I would have to see who's after the 49ers because I could see them dropping a little farther. But at least if we're just looking at just these 8, I think I actually kind of agree with this ordering right here.
37 points, season high. I was a little on the fence. Why go with Russ? Why not just roll with Justin Fields? Do they find another level the rest of the season with the play that you saw this past week from Russell Wilson?
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff from Mike Tomlin, at least after one game, right? They were in an election season and Russ wasn't polling very well. You know what I mean? People were questioning the decision. Why don't you stick with Justin? He's been getting it done. They've been winning. Look, Mike had a number, the internal numbers, I should say, the really good numbers. He knew what was going on. And even after that 2 for 8 start, I think, he felt like this offense was going to hit its groove. It did. A lot of short passes, some deep shots as well, and just kind of toyed with that defense and really made a difference. Got Pickens involved, got Freiermuth involved, and the run game suddenly opened up too. And Mike, when they got close to the end zone, it looked like a Justin Fields-like cameo appearance moment. Just didn't happen. There was no Fields. This was all Wilson. I think he's the guy from this point on. We'll see what Fields' story in Pittsburgh is after this. But I think
me personally, I'm not even that mad at it. I feel like he probably sits behind, learns from Russ. They have similar playing styles. Russ gives you about, maybe, how long is this deal? I forgot. Maybe 2-3 more years. I mean, yeah, he's at Justin Fields' career, but I feel like Justin Fields will take over this team when Russ moves on. That's basically the pathway I see here. Fields will just sit behind, learn behind Russ, learn to get better, so that way they can have a seamless transition from quarterback, go straight from Russ to Fields, and continue their greatness. That's what I would say was happening. I don't know if I would do it, because I personally just have, I like Justin Fields as a player, so I would have just kept rolling with him, but I feel like
it's going to go until the wheels come off at this point.
Yeah. Eric, I know you got kids. You go to the amusement park. You know that little game machine that's got the claw and it like drops down and you get like the teddy bear or whatever? I never used to get that. The real life version of that is George Pickens. Some of the grabs, I mean, his hands, it's remarkable. So I'm with you on the Steelers, who've been kind of hovering around this 9-10 area. We see if they find another notch up. The Eagles, they actually move up a couple spots, 2 spots to be specific, to number 10. Not surprised here. I mean, Saquon, 176 yards. This was the performance we expected to see against his old squad.
There was no chance he would be a no-show at MetLife Stadium against his former team. And look, he tapped out after 3 quarters. He could have gone for that career high in yards. Right? Certainly it was the most he'd ever had in that stadium, which had to sting for Giants fans. Right, Mike? I'm just saying. I'm sorry, but yeah. On a day when, really not a whole
that boy got shoved.
Well for the Eagles. I know that touchdown pass to A.J. Brown was terrific.
I mean, he still made the play, though.
It was really all about Barkley and all about how that Eagles defense really hunted Daniel Jones, knocked him out of the game. They went to Drew Lock late. And, the Eagles are a tough team. I remember seeing that highlight. When they have Barkley rolling, it really is, you can understand why they paid the money for him this offseason. And he's clearly made a big impact on this team.
Yeah, big time matchup looming for this Eagles squad against a Cincinnati squad that I've been defending here on this show for a significant period of time.
Cincinnati might need to be above the 49ers.
It's presented by
Energizer. 2 people move up by 4 or move down by 4.
Spots to number 12. I'm not going to lie to you. All right. Like, if you would have told me a couple weeks ago, we'd be talking about the Denver Broncos team sitting at number 12, I would have been surprised. Sell me on this.
Yeah, no, I've had to kind of sell myself too. Bears, Broncos, other teams that I had 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 spots below. I think most of it has been, hey, they've been doing pretty well and the teams above them have been losing. Right now, the middle class is a little bit jumbled, but they're making it work with Bo Nix. He's not been perfect, but he's been effective moving the chains with his legs. He can work out of slumps within games. The run game has been efficient. And that defense too, Cody Barton with a huge game last Thursday in New Orleans. I mean, I didn't think Sean Payton would go in there and lead an offensive showdown, but they came out with a big defensive win, and that was the statement they wanted to make. And so, this team is interesting. I don't know what their ceiling is. I don't know if we're talking about a true top 10 type of team, but they're right on the cusp right now, and I think a lot of that has to do with how they've played in recent games.
Yeah, good coaching job by Sean Payton. It helps, obviously, Bo Nix is having some really good moments on the football field. At number 13, the Buccaneers. They actually dropped 4 spots here. I think this is a sign of things to come for this team. We know the news. Chris Godwin is out because of a dislocated ankle. Mike Evans goes down with a hamstring injury.
Probably a couple of weeks for both.
I don't know where this offense goes without arguably the 2 of the best wide receivers that we have in the league.
I agree. You know, when you saw Evans drop that touchdown pass, that was the play where he hurt his hamstring or re-injured it, whatever you want to say. After that, Baker Mayfield looked lost at times. It took him a couple quarters to kind of find his rhythm again. By that point, the game was out of hand. So, yeah, I mean, obviously the Godwin thing happened late in the game, but the red zone pick, the interception after that, Mayfield had a tough outing out there. Some of it was protection, but I definitely think missing his top guy and eventually now top two guys really hurt. Cade Otton had a big game. Yeah. Jalen McMillan is a nice rookie. You know, there's three different options in the backfield they can turn to, hand the ball off to. But I'm with you, Mike. If Evans is out for any significant period of time, along with Godwin, even in this division, which remains open, and there is a path to winning another division.
We ain't doing it. It's just between them and Atlanta.
I'm having a hard time seeing it right now, and as well as Mayfield had played coming into to Monday night.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I feel bad because this is a squad that looked like they were the best team, you know, maybe in that division. But I think some of those other squads, their eyes just kind of opening up very wide.
No, not some.
Opportunity.
Just Atlanta.
Speaking of injuries, then I'm dealing with a lot of them. Brandon Ayuk gets a huge deal, 4 years, $120 million deal. Kind of offseason. I'll use air quotes around that because it went up to the wire here. Gets hurt, done for the season. And Deebo Samuel also, he started this game, played 4 snaps, had to leave, pneumonia. Ian Rappaport's reporting. Actually had to go to the hospital, fluid in his lungs, no timetable on his return. The Niners dropped 2 spots here.
Who approved him to play? There's no way he only lasted 4 plays. There's no way he was better before them 4 plays and after them 4 plays. Who gave him clearance? He should have been in the hospital anyway. Them 4 snaps did not do nothing for y'all.
This couldn't have gone worse for San Francisco. I mean, Christian McCaffrey hasn't even hit the field yet. I still want to be optimistic about this team. I just don't know where the production's
But I mean, from. Their division is weak too.
Yeah, I mean, Deebo, I think will be back at some point, but he's an annual injury risk. Ayuk out of the picture, as you said. Ricky Pearsall now has 1 game under his belt. Juwan Jennings still a toss-up guy as well. You know, as well as Kittle has played the last few games, you know, and the hope of McCaffrey coming back at some point. You have all these issues. You have defensive problems as well. They can't seem to go a game without some kind of special teams miscue. And they just lost to a team that has tormented them and kind of dominated them. I know it's a non-conference game and all that, but this had to be a pretty big one going into that game. And, they sort of hit an emotional bottom of sorts, but we also know how good Kyle Shanahan teams are in November, December. So I'm still not completely giving up hope, but I hear you, man. It's time to sound the alarm bells a little bit.
Hey, in the Bay Area, they had this game circled and an opportunity to make a statement, sitting at 500 coming into this game where hey, like,
I gotta wonder what would have happened if Trey Lance was still there.
We've had some losing streaks before. And
a mobile quarterback.
This is what I think every fan wanted to see. It's hard to get it done, though, without Ayuk and Deebo. Meanwhile, there's more
on the quadrant 3, it sounds like. Jets, big. All right, we got 17 through 24. Hey, we somehow still stay in quadrant 24. Quadrant 3. Chargers, Colts, Cowboys, Bengals up 2, Cardinals up 3, Jets, Rams, and we fall 3 spots to 24. So, give me the Bengals above every team up to the 49ers. The Bengals should be in spot 16. To me, I really feel like they are starting to grow and get a lot better, and I feel like they're actually going to start hitting stride. We're going to see a much better team here to finish the season. Everybody else kind of dropped down 1, but I'll agree with everything else after that. Cardinals over Jets, I would take. At this point, though, I think I would take Rams over Jets. And then us. Yeah, at this point, I would probably take us behind the Jets. But it's getting to be very, very sad. I don't know when we're getting our next win. Yeah, somebody come play with New Orleans, please.
Yeah, what really struck me early in Monday night's second game was how the 2 big plays in the first quarter. Starling Thomas knocking the ball out for a touchback the other way. It looked like it was going to be a Chargers touchdown. And then you mentioned Connor, the wily old Badger, man. He was great running the football, but he also made a crucial knockout of an interception to help give the ball back to the Cardinals. So who knows what happens. I think those 2 plays really kind of set the tone for the night. Situational awareness, toughness, hustle, it was all there. And they kind of out-Harbawed the Harbaughs last night or Monday night. So really an impressive game with physical power and mental toughness. Not that much explosiveness outside of Murray's run, but there's something about this team. I love the way they play. They throw it all out there every single time. And in the NFC West, anything is possible, Mike.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, we ran his post-game press conference on NFL Network, got executed in the red zone. He was hammering home that point. The Jets, Last 7 drives in the loss, 2 interceptions, a missed field goal, and a turnover on downs. I know it's Devontae Adams. I know they're making news. And look, I don't blame any of this on Devontae. He's been there for like 2 minutes here. But the Jets, dude, like, what, are we going to win some games here?
No.
Yeah, they've got to figure this thing out pretty quickly and make it all mesh together, right? We saw a lot of Devontae Adams. His biggest play, though, in the game was making a tackle after an interception, saving a touchdown, at least briefly here. And when Rodgers with this pick, I think was probably on him. The second one, definitely not on him. That was Garrett Wilson. Ball bosses off his chest and into the hands of Beanie Bishop Jr. So, it's plays like that look like they should be a positive for the Jets, end up a negative. That's been too common this season, whether it's, the wide receivers, the offensive line, penalties and pressures allowed, and even the defense too. Mike, I thought this was a top 10 unit. I know there's injuries. I know there's setbacks, but this is not a group that's is playing up to its potential right now.
It ain't.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers right now, 6 interceptions over his last 3 games. No bueno. All right, teams ranked 25 through 32.
We're going straight to it. Okay.
Dolphins.
No stoppage. Straight to the bottom half here. We got the Dolphins, Giants, Jags, Raiders, Titans, Browns, Patriots, Panthers. Bottom 3 staying the exact same, which to me, I mean, honestly, they all basically tied at 30 for me. Browns is looking buoy. Now, Jameis might help to elevate. Patriots have some hope with a rookie quarterback. And I heard Bryce has been confirmed to be playing here in week 8 coming up. They're putting him back on the field. So, let's see. I mean, I think maybe they were trying to save the season, see if they can salvage it. Now they know that the season's basically done. They're like, all right, Bryce, go ahead and get some XP at this point. Go get you some XP and grow a little bit more. Titan season's going downhill. Raiders season. I mean, these are basically the teams where it's like y'all are probably done. I mean, we're only at week 8. We still got a long season to go, but the only team that has some hope of some growth, I would say, is Miami with Tua coming back. But even then, I don't even think there's any saving them from that point.
There's some hope on the way, which we'll get to.
Ain't no hope.
The Giants at 26, no comment.
Ain't no hope.
For me, at 27,
y'all just done.
Jags, nice to see them. They get a win.
Start giving out dubs to everybody else.
Sitting at 28, kind of an ugly performance. The 29th ranked team, the Titans, continue to struggle 1-5 to get Detroit next. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson done. His Browns at 30. 31, it's the Patriots, a long way to go, and I have no idea what to make of the 32nd ranked team, the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if it necessarily matters anymore who's playing quarterback for them this season. Let's go positive here. Miami Dolphins. Tua is knocking on the door. Expect to see him out there.
Not going to wear no cap, by the way.
Maybe the Fins can make a run here.
No, they're not.
Yeah, whether it's this weekend or next, the big game against the Bills, the team that knocked him out earlier in the season, they have to see an offensive improvement. I mean, he would offer big hope, no question about it. They just can't have games where Tyreek Hill doesn't see a target until the third quarter. They can't have games where Jalen Waddle isn't seeing a catch until the fourth quarter. That's the biggest problem, the lack of explosiveness. What happened to Devin Achane? All these big playmakers they haven't been able to use because of the backup quarterback situation. But then, how is Tua? Is he ready to go? Is the concussion still an issue? Those are big lingering questions. So I can't really vault him up too much till we have more evidence of him being able to go out there and stay healthy.
The tough thing about this is every year it feels like we're trying to find another team that can dethrone the Buffalo Bills. And this season, it looked like maybe Miami could have been that squad. I'm not saying it can't happen. They got to go on an epic run, and they need their quarterback back in the lineup and healthy out on the football field. Eric, you're the best man. Cannot wait to do this again.
Hey, man. But like I said, I mean, for the most part, I pretty much agree with almost every ranking there. I mean, there's a couple spots that I would move up and down. Of course, they were mostly at the top in that top quadrant. But we agree with the top 3, just kind of flip-flopping 2 and 3. Let me know down below how you guys would rank that. Baltimore, Detroit. Who do you feel like is better? Who do you feel like is more dangerous? But overall, we're starting to see the separation. We're in that middle point of the season. Trade deadline's coming too close. We're starting to see all the trades happen. People are coming back from injuries, getting healthy to finish out the rest of the season. But we're at that point where we're starting to see the split. Who's kind of getting ready for the draft? Who are going to be real contenders? Some divisions are still tight to where like everybody's still in it. Like technically, I guess you could say the NFC South, the NFC West. They're still kind of fighting for it. But if you ask me, realistically, numbers-wise, they might not be out. But if you look at it realistically, looking at the rest of the schedule, looking at how they're playing, and looking at the projection and the trajectory that the team looks like, some of those divisions are even seeing that same split to at least where it's only 1 or 2 teams fighting for it. Some divisions are completely like the Chiefs division took. If you ask me, the North, all those Steelers are playing good. Baltimore's got that on lock. I do feel like the Lions have that division on lock. Minnesota's playing great, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that's Detroit's division to lose.
I'm trying to think who else kind of has the division on lock. Bills obviously have the division on absolute lock. There's 2 teams that got the division on absolute lock, and that is definitely going to be Kansas City and Buffalo. I think the Commanders have their division on lock as long as Jaden comes back healthy. But we'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out. You know, Atlanta and Tampa Bay fighting it out still. So let me know down below. Do you guys see the separation? Do you guys still think everything is still tight? And how do you think the season will play out through the rest of this? Let me know also where your favorite team is down below in the comment section. Where do they rank on this list? Did they move up or down? And who they got coming up this week? So catch you guys in the next video, man. It's me, your boy Sean, this movie, Black Okage, Black Avatar, and King Leo. I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. I am gone for the day. Peace.